going on, everyone? It's Leafs Lounge here, Leafs Den. We're going to do a video today going over what the Leafs are going to look like 2026. We're going to go over who's in, who's out, expectations for this season, what I think it'll look like, what the lines will look like, and we'll kind of go from there. I've done lives before on TikTok as well under Persinger92. If you're coming from TikTok, welcome. If you're seeing me on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. So we'll start out by going over the projected, or what I have as the projected lines for the Leafs. First line's pretty much a no-brainer to me. Nyes, Matthews, Michelli. I think Michelli will fit in there. He's a playmaker, someone to play with Matthews and Nyes. The duo of Matthews and Nyes probably won't change. So, Berube likes keeping his pairs together. So I think you'll have those two. And then Michelli, as a playmaker, could probably fit in that first line. So that's what I have. Domi, JT, Willie on the second line. Third line, Dakota Joshua, Waugh, and Bobby McMahon. Fourth line, Lorenz, Lawton, and Yarny. Now, going through these lines, a couple of things I'll say is I don't love JT as a second-line center anymore. He's still a good player, don't get me wrong. He's an NHL player. We got him at a good price on the re-sign. I think he's probably a very good third-line center. Second-line center, I don't know. I think you could probably upgrade there. As well as with Michelli, he's not Mitch Marner, right? He's not going to get you 106 or 108 points. However, what they've done by losing Mitchie, by bringing in Michelli, Joshua Waugh, or Nicholas Waugh, and Dakota Joshua, it's a different style, right? That third line with Waugh and Joshua, not easy to play against. They finish their hits. They're playoff players. So, yeah, maybe we don't finish the regular season with 108 points. We finished with 96, but our team's built better now in the playoffs. And these guys are playoff players. So when Mitchie kind of disappears in the playoffs because you don't have as much time or space, these guys kind of can create that, and they know how to play in playoffs, right? They're gonna crash the net, take the puck to the crib. So I think they're built better for the playoffs. I mean, obviously losing an all-star in Mitch isn't like ideal, but you also have to build the proper team. And when we already have Matthews and Willie, you don't really need, you don't need Mitch. So I think it's a better built team. It's more of a Berube style forward group now. Like that's a tough, some big bodies there. On the fourth with Lorenz, Lawton, and Yarny, I'm not 100% sure if that's what they roll with. I don't know if Yarny's in the line full time. This does not have Nick Robertson making the lineup, which I don't think he will. I think he's going to come in and out. Bobby McMahon, last year he kind of disappeared a little bit. I would have liked to see more for him, but I think he's going to play on the third line. He's not a fourth line player. So I think you put him on the third over Robertson. I mean, you could, scratch him a few games, throw Robertson in, but I think that's probably where McMahon fits in. And then this also doesn't have David Kampf. So I think they're, probably trying to move Kampf and Yarny, but there's probably not a lot of teams calling on them. They're both like $1.5 million overpaid, and being, very so close to the cap, you can't afford to pay people over like $1 million or $2 million over what they're actually worth when you could replace them at a league mid player. So I don't think there's a lot of teams calling on those guys. But if you had Yarny and throw Roberts in there, it doesn't make much of a difference. Lorenz, I think, will play most games. Lawton as well. So I think that fourth line is pretty solidified with the Lawton and Lorenz playing. It's just Yarny and then McMahon I can see coming in and out of the lineup, especially if McMahon doesn't produce as well as he probably should have. As for the decor, this is a great decor going into the season. McCabe, Tanev, love that. Riley, Carlo, love it. And then Benoit and OEL. That's not an easy decor to play against, minus Riley, obviously. But those other 5D are not easy to play against. OEL's got a nasty streak. Benoit finishes every hit that he possibly can. Tanev and McCabe are so defensively sound, get the puck out. Not really a liability. Riley, on the other hand, he's an NHL player, but he's not hard to play against. And if you look at the mistakes he makes, they can cost you, and they have. And when he's logging a ton of minutes, our whole structure of the team kind of goes out the window because he's just going running up and down the ice. But the other 5D, I love that. I love this. It's much better than having Martin Marincin, Sandin, Dermott, Cody Ceci. We've had some pretty bad D. Timothy Liljegren. Not that these guys are all bad, but they were all pretty much the same style. Offensive defensemen who aren't great offensively, minus Sandin. He's pretty solid, but Lily and those guys, Marincin, it was tough being a Leaf fan defensively. Jake Gardner, like we had to go through it with these guys, and we were a liability. But now this is a defensive defenseman who play hard. They're nasty to play against. Attendees, Wall and Stoley. Stoley should be number one. You go 1A, 1B. I love it. Hopefully they can both stay healthy. I know they've had injury problems before, so hopefully they're healthy with that. I mean, that should be a pretty good goalie tandem as long as they're healthy. And again, if you're not following, please hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to grow this YouTube channel. I really appreciate it. We're going to go over Leaf stuff weekly. I'll post videos, and then as well as I'll do lives as well. So going over actually who they brought in. So you lose Marner. You're losing a 100-point All-Star. It's a loss. Bringing in Waugh, Maccelli, Josh Waugh, it's a new identity to the team. Maccelli had 57 points 2 seasons ago. Last season, not a great season. I think he had 20 or 18 or 19 points. And that was on Arizona when he had the 57 points. So, he can bounce back. The thing about Maccelli is he's a skill guy. He's a very good playmaker. If you haven't seen much of him, he's very good playmaker, has very good hands. He's not an elite level goal scorer, but if you're pairing him with Matthews, you don't need him to be. You're going to have Nyes go in there, get the puck. Forecheck. Matthews is good on the forecheck too, and then Maccelli can hopefully find Matthews or Nyes. So that could work him on the first line. Now he's not Mitch Marner, but we've seen it before when Mitchie's out, you throw Domi there, and everyone's like, "Oh, Domi's a great playmaker." Well, he's playing with Matthews. Matthews is an elite level goal scorer who can make everyone look good. And that's actually what I think happened more with Marner. He's playing with Matthews, so I think Matthews brought out Mitchie, not the other way around. I've heard people say, Marner made Matthews look good, and I think it's the other way around. Where, I feel like if Maccelli plays the majority of the season on that first line, he'll have a good season. Don't be surprised to see him in the 70 to 80 point range. So I like the first line. We're bringing in Waugh, 30 points, but he's a big body. He's another big body. He plays the right way. He plays tough. He's defensively sound. He's 6'4". He's not going to get pushed around, right? He's not going to get bullied. And it's the same as Dakota Joshua. That guy hits. That guy is going up. In on the forecheck. He's going to pressure the D. He's not a defensive liability. He plays the right way. So those few things now make us, in the playoffs where you can't just skate in the zone like Mitch does and do a turn, try to wait out people and make a play. In the playoffs, there's no space. That's what we see with Mitch. He crosses the line in the playoffs. Guys are on him. He turns the puck over. He can't make the same play. The playoffs is a different animal. These guys don't play like that. They're going to put the puck on net or take the puck to the net themselves. And that's how you score. That's how you score in the playoffs. We've seen it before. Look at Nick Paul on Tampa a couple years ago when we played them. He scored big goals by just taking the puck to the net. He's not an all-star, but in the playoffs, the game is totally different, and it's catered to those bigger guys who aren't afraid to get to the greasy area. So I love our team the way it's built now. You lose an all-star, sure. We don't finish with 100 points. We finish somewhere in the 90s. We don't finish first. We end up matching Florida in the first round instead of the second round. Who cares? Like, that doesn't matter. Why does it matter when you play them? You need to beat them anyway. And now we're built better for the playoffs. So with all of that, um, I think I think the team is better off without Marner. Obviously, it sucks losing him because he's he's an all-star. He's a great player, right? It's just the way the team's built. Um, you kind of need to change it up a little bit. Now, going with Matthew Nyes, I expect to see a big year from him. If you look at his stats the last couple of years, he's doubled his goals. 2023, he had 15 goals. 2024, 25, 29. He almost doubled it from 15 to 29, and he played 2 less games. I'm not saying he's going to double it again and score 60, but don't be surprised to see Nyes with 30, 35 goals next season. Big body. He's only 22, plays the right way. I think he's going to be over 30 goals on a season. And that's what we need, right? Like you're losing Marner, but you have other guys developing, like Nyes, who's just going to should continuously get better, which is nice to see. And he hits, right. Leaf fans love him because he's everything we haven't had in a while. So a big Matthew Nyes fan. In regards to Cowan, I'm not 100% sure if he makes the team. Last year, I actually thought he was going to. I was like, he's going to. And then after watching more video and seeing footage of him, I'm not 100% sure if he makes the team. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? I feel like Leaf fans especially, we're so big on our prospects. Oh, they're going to make the team. They're all-stars. They're unreal. He belongs on the team. He probably will be an NHL player, but right now he's an AHL player. I was watching the prospects tournament. He didn't stand out that much. I mean, it was just one game. And I've seen other videos of him, and I've watched lots of his games, but I don't think he's an NHL player yet, and there's no reason to push him into the NHL to play on a third or fourth line when I don't think he's a top 6 forward in the NHL. There's nothing wrong with going into the AHL scoring 20 to 30 goals, having some responsibility there, learning the league a little bit more too, right? It's different. He's not playing against 17, 18, 19-year-old kids anymore. These are grown men. There's a big difference. So giving him a year or two in the American League, there's nothing wrong with that. Especially Leaf fans, we always try to push them on like, oh, they're NHL ready, they need to be there now. But in reality, he's probably not. If you look at Jacob Quinlan, especially in the prospect game, Jacob Quinlan, I always mess his name up. He might be more NHL ready. He plays hard. He's kind of like a Fraser Minton type player. I loved Minton last year. I thought Minton, when we were talking about doing trades last year, I remember saying I hope they trade Cowan, not Minton. I love the way Minton plays. The way Minton plays was more transferable too. He could kind of play anywhere in the lineup, where Cowan has to be more of a top 6 forward. You can't put him on the third or fourth line. He doesn't play that style. And I think you see that with Jacob Quillan. So I don't know if he makes the team just because of the limited spots when you look at our lines. Like, who does he take out? Maybe Yarny or McMahon, but you still also have Pizzetta, Kampf, Robertson. So there's other, there's other guys also fighting for that spot. So I don't see him, making the team. That being said, he will play NHL games this season. When guys get scratched or injured or suspended, he will be in the lineup. And I love him. Like, he plays good. He's heavy on the forecheck. He's got good edges, solid speed, and he makes a smart play more times than not. Yeah, on the Marlies last year, he put up 18 goals, 19 assists for 37 points in 67 games. Like, he's only 22, 21, 22? He's 23. That's kind of what the Leafs need, is a guy like that. He's not going to make the team out of camp. I don't think. I mean, he could. I just don't know who he takes over. I feel like McMahon is going to be there. And the fourth line with Lorentz and Lawton I feel like those are locks as well. I can't see him, knocking one of them out of a spot. Yarny maybe, but I don't see him taking Yarny. Now, power play will look a little bit different without Marner. You're going to see I feel like we're going to see a different look this year. I was big on having Matthews on the 1T side. No, I know a lot they switch where Matthews plays on the left and then kind of will come out of the zone and do his his turnaround, come in, and as he's entering, they hit him and he takes his shot. It works. I prefer having your wingers on their one timers. It just creates more options where when he's getting that puck there, yeah, he's got an incredible shot. He's going to shoot and he can score. However, it's a little bit easier to defend because you're watching the 1T over there and Matthews isn't set up for 1T. So I'm hoping with Marner gone, they do run the 2 1Ts on each side. It just, I prefer that a little bit more, just a little bit more dangerous. You look at Tampa's or even Boston's, that's kind of what they do. They're just looking for the one-timers. So the power play will look a little bit different. PK as well, as Mitchie was playing on the PK. So I think, that's going to look a little bit different. Predictions, we're going to be a playoff team. We're not going to finish with 108 points. We'll finish probably somewhere in the 90s, I assume would be my best guess. But who really cares when it's all about the playoffs and it's proven that we need to figure out a way to win in the playoffs. Sorry about my voice. So we're going to have a couple changes there. Let's talk Auston Matthews. How many goals does Matthews score this year? I personally think he's going to get between 50 to 55. I don't think he hits 60 again. If he's healthy and can play 82, possibly. But I that's a crazy number. I think he's realistically going to hit 55 goals this year. He's probably the most natural goal scorer in the league. He's an incredible shot. But we can tell he hasn't been healthy. He has not been healthy, I would say. Remember the Four Nations, he was injured before, came back, played. After the Four Nations, he did not look right. There was tap-in goals, like one-timers that he was missing. His shot wasn't the same. He did score a couple, like from his left side wrist shot, but even those shots looked off and it almost like fooled the goalie because they weren't at his regular speed. They weren't like, those Matthews snipes. So I'm hoping Matthews is back to being healthy. We haven't seen him 100% in a while. They've kind of kept it quiet on what's been going on. I know he went to Germany last offseason, but you don't really hear much about it. But you could tell, as any Leaf fan watching, Matthews was not 100%. Like he wasn't. He didn't have the shot. He was hesitant on it. He was taking a while to let it go. We need him at 100%. We absolutely need him at 100%. If he's at 100%, I think he hits 100 points. Like he'll do that. Nyes, he's playing with Nyes, big body. We'll go get him the puck, and especially, Nyes is going to take a step forward. Okay, now if Michelli can just be a playmaker like he can be, that line will work. 100% that line will work. It's now if Matthews isn't healthy, it's not going to be great because it's going to hurt that first line like tremendously. Where both of those guys, more so Michelli, not Nice, but they rely on Matthews. They will rely on him to score when he gets the puck in the slot. I mean, he can create something out of nothing. He can walk over the line, take a shot that most NHL players are never going to score, and he can do that when he's healthy. When he's not, he's not lightning fast, so he's not going to burn them. When he's injured, it's hard because, dude, he's invisible. And it's frustrating as a Leaf fan. So hopefully Matthews can be healthy, at least to start the season, and we can kind of go from there. Let's take a look at... I've gone over that. JT, yeah, the second line. I don't love JT on the second line. He's a good third line center. Now, if you move him to the third, maybe move McMahon down and Waugh to the wing and then run that, but you would still need you would need someone to come in and play that second line center position. I know they talked about Roslovic from the Jets. I don't personally love him. I don't think he's a great fit there. I don't know where he would even fit on the team, so I'm not sure how much truth there is to us getting him, but I don't love it. It's not really what we need. I think we need a second line center. And then, Lorentz, Laudon are good players. They're both, I'm a big fan of Lorentz. I like the way he plays. I feel like he should score more. Wish he had a little bit more finish, but he's got size and he's got decent speed for how big he is. He doesn't look like he'd be that quick, but he's pretty fast. Doesn't turn the puck over. He can beat guys wide. So we've got a solid fourth line between Lawton and Lawrence. And I don't hate Yarny. I think Yarny's a little, Yarncroc, sorry, a little bit overpaid. But besides that, he's a workhorse. Finishes hits. He has no finish. There has been times when the Leafs will move him up on the first line due to injuries or play him on the second line, and he's had chances and he can't hit a tap in, right? And it's like that's why he's not on the first or second line, because if you're a casual Leaf fan and you watched one game and you saw Yarncroc play, you might think that guy needs to be on the first line because he's a good skater. He looks like he's going to score goals. He just doesn't. And at some point, you don't produce. It's like, we can't just keep playing you there. And that's kind of what's happened with Yarncroc, is he looks like he should be better than he is, and he's just not consistently. And that's the same as with Robertson as well. I've had this conversation with people where they think Robertson is a great hockey player, and it's like, man, he's proven himself. He's not consistent. He moves his legs really quick. Like, don't get me wrong, he'll hustle in the forecheck, but what does he do in the forecheck? Swing his stick. He's not going to force a turnover. If he does get the puck, more times than not, he falls down. If you ever watch him, he falls down once a shift. He gets pushed over or trips over something. He falls down a lot. It's like, but then again, if you watched one game, you might think, wow, this kid's incredible, because he is fast on the forecheck. His legs are going, but he's falling down all the time. He's turning the puck over. He's not very good defensively. And I know he's asked for a trade out of Toronto, which is surprising, where, for someone who's never been a consistent NHL player to say, hey, I want out, it's not a great look. And I think the Leafs did shop him. I just don't think there's a ton of teams wanting him, right? He's not a consistent NHL player. And with the cap being the way it is, it's so tight, no team can overpay a player. So, yeah, I'm just pulling up his stats now. Nick Robertson, 15 goals last season in 69 games, 7 assists. The year before, 14 goals, 13 assists. He's never had more than 15 goals is his most. That was last season. But he's 24. He's been around the organization for a few years now. I think he's a fringe NHL player, a fringe third line player. He's not a top 6 player, and I think he might believe that he is, but he's just not. So I don't know where he fits in. I think he'll come in the lineup. He'll play a few games, get sit out. It's kind of what he always does. Last year was the most he's ever played. He played 69 games. Season before, 56. Season before that, 28. So he might play in between the 60 and 70 again. I don't know, because we also do have Lawton to start the season now. We didn't have that last season. And we also had Reeves, in the lineup to start last season. So, it's pretty easy to throw Robertson in there when you have a guy like Reeves. I mean, I like what Reeves brought, but he's not the best skater or best player by any means. So it's easier to have, Robertson in there where there's just not as much room now. That being said, I feel like he's in competition more so with McMahon. If we look at McMahon the year before, he was, he had a breakthrough. It was like, man, this guy can shoot the puck. And they were telling him, you got to shoot. And he was scoring. And then last year, it's just like, almost like, what are you doing? He lost his confidence in himself. So the season before, 2023-2024, 15 goals in 56 games. Last year, 74 games, 20 goals, but only 34 points. And I think it was the fall off. I don't have the stats, but it was more so after Christmas. It was like he just kind of disappeared. I think he had a couple games where he had a few goals, and then it was an incredible disappearing act. So hopefully he can step up, because I like him. He's got speed. He's got a wicked shot if he can just shoot the puck. But he's got to have confidence in himself, because if he's not shooting the puck, he's not like a physical player. He's not a great playmaker. He's more speed and shoot. So if he's not shooting, you're not getting much. You're not getting a ton with him. So that's kind of what I'm thinking the Leafs will look like to start this season. I love having Nyes there. I'm not a huge Max Domi fan. I don't get me wrong, I like him. I just don't think you put him on the first line. You see a lot of Leaf fans say he should be there with Matthews. I see that a lot, probably more than anything else. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you would do with your lines, or at least the first 2 lines. I'm curious to see. But a lot of people put Domi on the first line with Matthews and Nyes. I just don't. I don't think Domi's a good playmaker. I just, he takes penalties, and I think he's better off on the second or third line. Ideally, the third. But the second, if you do run Domi, JT, and Willie, it's not a bad line. Like, I'm a big William Nylander fan. I love him. So I think he makes anyone look good. He's an incredible player. I remember when he was $7.5 million, everyone was like, "Oh, he's bad defensively." Okay, but he was $7.5 million, right? Like, in scoring 40 goals. This was like 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, he's has some defensive flaws, but what you get on the upside is incredible. In the playoffs, he was our best player. You watch a playoff game with William Nylander, and he enters the puck, enters the zone with the puck. He's taking the puck to the net. You don't see that with Mitch, right? You don't even see it with Matt. Like, we didn't see it with Matthews this year. Willie will drive that puck to the net. He scored a couple goals in the playoffs, just dropping his shoulder, taking it to the net, and that's how you win in the playoffs. Is guys like Willie, and everyone says he's soft. I don't see these other guys taking the puck to the net. Sure, he's not finishing a hit. I don't care. I mean, I do want guys to finish hits, but I want the puck. We need the puck to be taken to the net. Willie will do that 100% every time. So I like the second. Waugh, McMahon, Joshua. We'll see how that works. Lorenz and Nylander are locks on that fourth, and then I think it'll be either Yarny. I don't think Robertson. Maybe Robertson. Yarny, Robertson, and McMahon will probably go through that. I don't think Cowan makes the team. I think Cowan starts in the American League, and I think he'll have a good season there. He needs to develop some more. He definitely needs to develop some more. Anyways, that's it for this one. I'm going to be doing lives on YouTube as well. If you like Leaf content, please hit that subscribe button. I need to hit 500 subscribers. I appreciate it. Let me know in the comments what you would do with your first or second line. I'm curious. I love talking about the different line combinations, and I understand the Domi thought process there. I just don't think he's a first line player. Where Michelli having a good season before, great playmaker, I think he would be a better fit there. But yeah, let me know in the comments. I appreciate all the love. Take care, guys.